Hello, good morning. Welcome to your English lesson for today, Friday, October 23rd. I'm kind of Halloweeny today with my orange jacket and it being almost the end of October. That's super exciting. We have trick-or-treating and Halloween coming up soon. If you celebrate it, I'm sure you're excited. If not, that's fine too. Let's see. We are in English right now, so you should have workbook page 83 and 84 in front of you. Of your English book. At the top, the title says main verbs and helping verbs. So hopefully you're on the right page. If you're not, pause the video, go find the right page, and then resume the video when you're ready, okay? Now today, main verbs and helping verbs, these can be a little confusing, and really it's because you just need to memorize what helping verbs can be. So hopefully this weekend, if you have time, maybe you can look back at this page and really try and get I think there's, let's see, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15 of them on this page. And if you can just get those down by memory, it's really going to help you out. If you don't have them by memory, that's okay. It's still doable. It's just a little harder. All right. So that's my encouraging tip, or I guess my advice. Do with that what you will. So let's read at the top. It says in the yellow box, sometimes a complete action verb has more than one word. The main verb tells the action of the subject. So the main verb is telling what's going on. That's usually going to be an action verb. It's not going to be a linking verb, okay? The linking verb is usually the helping verb with an action verb, okay? So the main verb is showing the action. The helping verb helps the main verb. Obviously, helping verb helps the verb. Helping verbs always come before the main verb, so that's a tip. It always comes before, never after, in a sentence. The complete verb includes the helping verb and the main verb. Sorry, I lost my train of thought there. The complete verb includes the helping verb and the main verb, but not any extra words between the verbs. So, for instance, when we have a subject or maybe a compound subject in which the sentence says, I don't know, the broom and the mop helped me clean my media room, then the subject is broom mop, right? It's not the broom and the mop. Those extra words are not included as the subject. And it's the same way for helping verbs and main verbs. If there's words that are splitting those two concepts up, the words in the middle don't count. All right, so we're going to see that. If that didn't make sense, that's okay. When you see it, it'll start to make a little bit more sense. So let's look at the verbs used. Well, actually, we skipped a couple. So the first example in purple, it says, the first basketball players would throw the ball into peach baskets. And that's true. Did you know that? That basketball was created by the YMCA by a man named James Naismith. Actually, you're reading about that today. And they used to use peach baskets as the baskets. Kind of fun fact for you today. Anyways, the first basketball players would throw the ball into peach baskets. Our simple subject is going to be players, right? Who is the sentence about? It's about players. It's not about basketball. It's about the players, right? The players are doing the action. What's the action? The action would be throw, right? Players throw because they're physically doing something, or I guess really we call it now shooting, right? They would throw the ball into the peach baskets. Can you find the helping verb? The helping verb is going to be like a linking verb. Linking verb that is not by itself, right? So the one in this sentence is going to be would. Would throw. That helps the verb, right? The would helps the action verb throw by giving it more detail. So to diagram these sentences, you're going to diagram it just like you would a simple subject and a simple verb, except at this time your simple verb is just a little longer. All right. So to diagram it, look at your paper off to the right. Players on the left, Hoya line in the middle, and then would throw as your complete verb, right? You have your main verb, throw, you have your helping verb, would, and you're keeping both of those together, would, throw. Okay. Let's look at the orange box, verbs used as helping verbs. So this is the one that I was telling you about, the 15 verbs that are oftentimes used as helping verbs that it may just be easier to memorize so that when you see them in a sentence, you know automatically that's going to help my main verb, okay? So am, is, are, was, were, will, have, has, had, does, do, did, would, could, should. All of those words, 9 times out of 10, are helping verbs. I guess I shouldn't say numbers. I don't know exactly how many times out of how many times these will be helping verbs. But when you see these, you should think to yourself, is this a helping verb? Because oftentimes it is, okay? All right, keep on reading. It says some adverbs such as usually, often, sometimes, also, even, or not, come between the main verb and the helping verb. These words also tell about the action of the main verb and may change the meaning of the sentence. Okay, so here's their example. Geese will usually fly south in September. Usually is in blue because it's that adverb, right? And this is what I was talking about when there's a word in between your helping verb and your main verb, because in that sentence, will is your helping verb, fly is your main verb, right? But usually in the middle is not a verb. Usually is in no way, shape, or form a verb. It's an adverb, right? So when you are underlining your verb 2 times, right, because that V has 2 lines, verbs are underlined 2 times. When you're underlining your verbs, you need to make sure that you're not underlining words in between the verbs that are not verbs, okay? So to underline for this sentence, geese is your subject, right? Underline once. Will fly is your verb, right? Underline both will and fly 2 times. Do not underline usually. And then when you're diagramming, again, you just do geese and will fly, right? Look at the next one. They do not enjoy the cold winters in the north. Words like not and usually are always adverbs. Often, sometimes, also, even, those words that they mentioned above, adverbs. They are not part of your verb. So when you're underlining, they is your simple subject. Do enjoy, because do is a helping verb. Do enjoy, underline twice, okay? All right, guys, let's practice with this. So on your paper, you should have page 83 in front of you. Obviously, you should have been reading it with me, but we are on 1 through 4. The instructions say, oh, sorry, my dogs can hear a siren. So when police or like fire trucks go by, they kind of lose their minds. So give me a second. All right, guys, sorry about that. I had to pause it real quick and get them to shoosh, shoosh. I don't even know if you heard them. You may not have heard them, but if you did, I apologize. All right, so back to our guided practice. Look at the instructions for 1 through 4. It says, underline the simple subject once, always once for a subject. Underline the complete verb twice. All right, repeat after me. Simple subjects once. Complete verbs twice, right? Remember that, twice for verbs, once for subjects, okay? All right, so let's go through. Number 1, see, I was telling you, this is the guy that I was talking about. Dr. James Naismith did invent basketball in 1891. So who is the sentence about? Who's your verb, not your verb, I'm sorry, your subject. Who is your subject? I'm hoping you underlined Dr. James Naismith because that's who the sentence is about, right? And he's doing something in the sentence. What does he do? What's the verb? Now, there's a main verb and there's a helping verb. Can you find them both? It should be did invent, and those words, did invent, should be underlined twice. And that's it for that sentence. Look how easy that was. All right, number 2. He had written 13 rules for the new game. Did you know that? Basketball started out with only having 13 rules. That's it. So let's look at your subject. Who is the subject, or what is the subject? It should be he, underlined once. And then had written should be your verb, right? Not just written, had written, underlined twice. All right, number 3, let's do it again. Young men could play the game inside during the cold winter. Who or what is the sentence about, or who's doing the action? All right, it should be men. It is not young men, right? Because that is a phrase and young is not a subject on its own, right? Men, underlined once. And then two verbs, could play, underlined twice. All right, for this last one, I'm going to give you a minute. I want you to read it. Well, I'll read it to you, and then I'm going to give you like 10, 15 seconds to do your best to find your subject, underline it once, find your helping verb and your main verb, underline them twice, and then I'm going to tell you what the answer is, and you're going to check your paper, all right? If you don't get it right, then you're doing something wrong, and you need to ask for help before you move on, okay? So number 4 says, Dr. Naismith had devised the most popular indoor sport of all time. So I'm going to give you like 10 seconds. Find your subject, find your verb, find your helping verb, underline all those things. All right, I think that was enough time. Hopefully you found them. So you should have underlined Dr. Naismith once and had devised twice. All right. So those should have been your underlines. Hopefully you guys got that right. Let's look at number 5. The directions for number 5 says underline the simple subject once and the complete verb twice. We just did that. That's nothing new. In the blank, write the word that is between the helping verb and the main verb. So in this sentence, you're going to have an adverb in between those two parts of the verb. So remember, you don't underline them. What they want you to do is they want you to write what word is in between on the blank. Okay, so let's look at this sentence. Good athletes will usually practice faithfully. So what is your simple subject? Who is the sentence about? You should underline athletes once. And then athletes do what? It's not just practice, although practice is the main verb, right? Where's your helping verb? You should have will and practice underlined twice. You should not underline at all usually, right? Usually should be blank underneath it. You should, however, take usually because it's in between your two verbs and write it on the blank at the end, usually. And you should not get that spelled wrong because it's written right in front of you, right? Right. All right, and then down below that, guys, it says diagram the simple subject and the complete verb for sentence 5. Remember to include the helping verb and the main verb. So this is a lot easier than you think it is. You've already done the work, right? You already know what your subject is. You already know what your complete verb is. All you need to do is put it on a line. So here's my line. My subject, we said, was athletes. So there's athletes, and then we just need our whole verb, right? Will practice. Will practice. Easy enough? Let's look at page 84. Page 84. 84, you are not doing anything new that we did not just do together as a class, all right? So if you have questions, that's fine. Shoot me an email. We can always try and get those ironed out, but I think that you guys should have this down. If you don't, go back to the beginning of this video and listen carefully, listen a second time to how to get this done, okay? So instructions for 1 through 6, underline the simple subject once, underline your complete verb twice. There are no adverbs in between your verbs on this one, all right? There's no adverbs in between the two words, so that should just be real close together, all right? 2 words, underline twice. Look at 7 through 11. Underline the simple subject once and the complete verb twice. Write the word that is between the helping verb and the main verb. Now there's an adverb in between, right? So you need to underline your simple subject once, underline both those words for your verb, your main verb and your helping verb twice, and then write the word in the middle on the blank at the end, okay? Look at number 12 and 13. It says diagram the simple subject and the complete verb in these sentences. Remember to include the helping verb and the main verb, but do not include the adverb. So there may be an adverb in between the helping verb and the main verb. You do not need to write your adverb on the line when you're diagramming, all right? All right, let's see. Apply and listen. Write some helping verbs that you hear. You don't need to do that. You can just throw a nice little X through all three of those lines. You're welcome. All right. All right, and then you'll be all done with this page. It shouldn't take long. Again, if you have questions, reach out, ask mom, ask dad, ask me. Anyone that's around you that may know, let them know that you're struggling, okay? Or if you're doing great, you're doing great. Awesome. All right, that's it for English today, and I will see you again soon. Goodbye.